Hello, you crazy CrossFitters around the world. Pat Sherwood here with Katie Henniger and Josh Everett, and we're going to talk about a really interesting topic in the CrossFit community, and that's programming or creating workouts. First of all, there's two kind of categories we need to understand what each one is. First one is where I fall. It's just GPP, General Physical Preparedness, and that's what CrossFit is. It's a GPP program. The other side of the house is if you choose CrossFit as your sport, you want to participate in the Open, do well, make it to the regionals, and eventually get down here behind us to the CrossFit Games, throw down at the Home Depot Center. Two very different plans of attack, and we've got ways that we can try to skin that cat, and we're going to dive into that right now. Some athletes like myself, GPP, just trying to stay fit, stay healthy. One workout of a day, no strength bias, no whatever bias. I have a fitness bias is what I like to say, and that's plenty for me. 3 days on, 1 day off. Some games athletes choose to do that. The other side of the house, totally different, is not one workout a day, but 2, 3, maybe even 4, and versus me being in the gym in and out in 40 minutes, some of these guys are there 3 hours, and
so let's start.
We need to understand that,
get some specific examples of some of those. So if you look at Matt Chan and Chris Spieler, these are top athletes, been around for a while, that choose to do the one workout per day, kind of traditional CrossFit, attack your weakness, but 3 on, 1 off. And does that approach work? Absolutely. Look at the results. They're out here today.
I wouldn't mind having
over and over
Chan's
again.
or Spieler's fitness, so yeah, I guess it works.
Also, let's look at, if we're having that debate, multiple workouts versus single workouts, let's take that age factor into play. These guys are both in their early 30s. Past the age of recovering really fast. So it's kind of out of necessity that they need to train one workout per day. But also, if you look, they've been in the game for a long time. So they've had time to accumulate a lot of skills. They've got a lot of volume of training underneath their belt. So they don't necessarily need to do 2, 3 workouts a day to experience all these new workouts. You make adaptations to these new experiences and stimuluses you give yourself. They've had 4, 5, 6 years to get that. Some younger guys, and I think we were talking about Austin Maliolo, Rich Froning, Graham Holmberg, some of these guys doing multiple workouts in a day consistently. They haven't had that time to accumulate the skills and drills and volume under their belt. So it may be a little bit more beneficial for them to start getting that volume by multiple workouts.
Yeah, they may not have had that time, but they're also younger. They recover faster, and I have the chance to be around
young people.
Yeah, that's awful. I have the chance to be around Dan Bailey every day. He comes in, he works for us, but he comes in every morning. He goes a 3 on, 1 off still, but he's going to come in the morning. He's going to hit a strength bias, usually, squat, dead, anything, but he's also going to hit like a 10-minute workout. And then he's going to come back later in the night after work, and he hits another workout. And that's 3 on, 1 off, and that's pretty typical hit for him for the last 6 months. I can't imagine doing that type of volume for that long. I mean, I wouldn't be able to hold up.
No, for sure. And I'm lucky enough to have a lot of exposure to the CrossFit community. I get to travel around on the level 1 seminar staff, and anytime I happen across somebody that did very well in the regionals or a games athlete, I ask them this specific question because it fascinates me. Are you a classic 1 workout a day kind of person? Do you ramp up that volume? And it's almost split 50-50 with everyone that I've talked to. And so that kind of begs the question, how do I choose which one's right for me? And we've got a really simple way to do that in CrossFit. You need to track your data, right? You need to have a workout log from your long body weight events, long barbell events, runs, rows, gymnastics, short, medium, the whole gamut, low rep, high rep. And if everything in your workout log, if your lifts are going up and your times are going down, I don't care whether you're doing 1 workout a day or 3 workouts a day, what you're doing is working. I recommend you stick with it.
And at some point, if you're going to compete in this sport, we know these competitions, what they mean, regionals, sectionals, even some of the garage games, the local competitions. It's 2, 3, 4 workouts in a day, 10 workouts over the course of a competition. You have to practice that at some point. But some of the competitors that have been around for a while, they've done enough competitions that they've started to accumulate that experience and don't necessarily need to do that to themselves over and over again. Maybe a few months out, once or twice here and there, hit a double, triple, quad day, if you will, just so when you come here, you're prepared for that volume.
Well, we've mentioned Graham Holmberg. He actually takes a true off season, you know, like a basketball or a football team. Now, what do you guys think about that? I mean, he goes about 6 months out of the year. Well, he'll take one of his weaknesses and he'll work on it. And then about 2 months before the games, he started to ramp up, doing 2 and 3 workouts a day. And I'm sure, you know, after the games are over, he's going to take some time off as well. That's
interesting. It's kind of more of a classical periodization of, you know, approach to sports training. It's not really popular in CrossFit. And so, again, I would kind of throw that back, you know, not a default answer, but true. The proof's going to be in the pudding if more and more CrossFit athletes start to do that in their training, and we see more of them make it to the Home Depot Center, make it to the Reebok CrossFit Games, and beat out those athletes that are doing more just variants all over the course of the year. So I think the data is starting to be compiled, but I'm not really sure which I believe yet. I haven't seen it work, but Graham's down there in the field throwing down, so this might be the first year to check it out. Another interesting thing to talk about is we have no idea, and the athletes have no idea. You know, year after year after year, people try to break out the crystal ball, what's going to be at the games this year. I don't think anybody would have predicted the killer cage.
I don't think anyone did. I
don't think
they
anyone
came in and said, what the hell is that thing?
No, anyone would have predicted the Watt bike. I don't think anyone would have predicted showing up to the Santa Monica Pier, and there's a huge pull-up structure there, and we're going to do an open ocean water swim. So you can't predict what life's going to throw at you, and you can't predict what the Reebok CrossFit Games is going to throw at you. So how do you train for that?
You train GPP, general physical preparedness, and if you truly have a strong GPP foundation, you can reach out and grab all these different things and do reasonably well at them, things that you've never done before, and do okay. Of course, not as well if you practice it 5 times, but that's not what we're about. We're about being ready for any and everything, all imaginable task, anything that gets thrown at you, you can manage it and be successful.
Now, as much as the athletes don't know what's, you know, looming out in day 3 at the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games, we don't either. So how are you going to find out? Come back and join us tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN3.com. We will see you then.